Welcome back to Alayna's Beauty Talk and more. We only have a half hour left, so we got to get right to it. Let's talk a little bit more about social media. Your daughter's right in the throes of it because she's, let's say, 14.
Yeah, she is. Well, every time I control what she's writing, and I catch up one time her putting something on the on social media, and one of the boy in her school answered that you think that you are beautiful, you are not. Well, what I have to do at this time, I have to step in the school, and I know the boy. I say, whatever she wrote and she posted, I am aware of it. We don't need. And if you cannot say anything nice, just don't say anything.
So, do you go to her school often if you have to?
I do. No, it's not for the same reason that I go to a school. I was a volunteer in a school last year. Well, they volunteer me. I started with one child. I ended with 300 children. She said, "Mom, you have 300 kids now." Because you can feel in the school, some kids will really need some attention and love and somebody they can talk to without being interfering with the teacher. And that started by being there doing activity with them. There was in eighth graders and ninth graders now. Give them respect, pay attention to them. Remember, I'm a midwife, but I did child development in Europe too, and I work with Doctors Without Borders, meaning the compassion for the kids are there and for the youth, because there's a target that we usually sometimes forget, and we every time want to tell them what they have to do when they want to be heard and know and let us know what they want. Meaning that was the effect that I was every time in the school. And now they call me, even if she's Mark Twain Middle School, I have to go back there for a generation of youth who need to be lifted on their esteem too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're talking again a lot about the physical violence that children witness, but just neglect. I mean, child neglect. I mean, that not having somebody not sort of keep validating you or how beautiful you are and incredible you are, and the inside and the outside, and it's just neglect is so sad. I mean, like you said, it's wonderful that you go and help these children see who they really are.
And on social media, again, as you are saying, it's very important for them to have a positive message among themselves. You see what's happened sometimes, some kids beating each other in the school because of some little small things. And I said, if we have a culture of knowing that we lose in life, you lose and you win, and you cannot win every time. If somebody say no, you don't take it like the end of the word. For youth, it can be the end of the word. For teenagers, then they will just react in a certain way that can be negative, rather than learning that, okay, the person said no, well, let's move on. That's what we have, this culture every time rewarding everybody at school, even if they did wrong. Everybody get reward when you need to know that is,
I think we have another show here.
I do.
Because I also feel very strongly that we are in a culture where trying something and not having the result that you want is considered failure, which I don't even like to use that word, because it's not failure. It's just part of the path of getting somewhere. Sometimes something will just be that, you go off course, or it's a learning experience, it's a course correction, but there's no such thing as a mistake. But what I also wanted to talk about too, before we run out of time, is the red flags for people that are either young people that are listening that are not sure if they're in an abusive relationship or not, or they're dating. And some of the things are, if you meet somebody and they're moving too fast, that's one of the first red flags. Somebody that is just professing love within the first week, they want to marry you. They've got you on a pedestal. I mean, clearly they don't know you. They're just projecting onto you. You somehow fit some ideal they have, and then once they get to know you, they're
Crumbles.
Yeah, or they tear you down off that pedestal because you weren't Superwoman and you weren't the perfect partner. Another red flag is, just being jealous. Like, where have you been? What are you doing? Suspecting that you might be cheating, when it's usually quite often that they're the ones that are cheating because it would occur to them and it wouldn't occur to you. Separating you out from your family and your friends, being possessive of your time, wanting to see you every day, and you find out that you're starting slowly to give up your life and your interests to accommodate this partner that you have. Would you like to throw a few more in there?
Yeah, I mean, basically, if they're putting you down,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't take that as, oh, they're just having a bad day,
Yeah.
or, we just have a very dysfunctional understanding of what love looks like. So
Yeah.
when you have songs that say, you know, something about you cause me pain, but then I still love you, there's something wrong with that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And we have a lot, these are the things that we get programmed with,
Mm-hmm.
our music and what have you, and especially the young people. So understanding that love is not supposed to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be perfect? No. Are you going to have disagreements? Yes. But it's never supposed to come to the point where you're calling each other names and putting each other down.
Absolutely.
It's supposed to be about trying to come to an understanding. And so I think that's a major red flag.
Absolutely. And allow, like you say, allowing the other person to have a different perspective
Yeah.
without having to make them right or wrong or trying to control them. But again, all of this domestic abuse is about control.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
keep getting
Absolutely.
back to that. It's the control.
It's the control, the
Yeah.
control freak.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Controlling where
Absolutely.
you are, what you think,
Mm-hmm.
what you
do.
say, what you do.
You're
who
not
hang out
allowed
with.
to
talk
be,
to.
Yeah, you're not allowed to be a person.
Oh, no.
You're just an extension.
You're a
Yeah.
puppet.
You're a puppet.
Yeah, and also even in sort of in a marriage, I've heard my clients of mine say that, and prior to the marriage, prior to having children, they felt very independent, they were loved, they were respected, but as soon as they had children, and there was this sense that they were almost trapped, and they
Yep.
maybe gave up their job, they quite happily took on the role of taking care of their children, and their spouse, their husband, took care of the finances. My advice to any young woman is, don't give up your independence.
Yep.
Even if it's a part-time job, just have some sense of that you are autonomous, that you can survive on your own. And as much as we love our children so much and want to be there for them totally, still be aware of the finances, where things are. So many of the women I talk to are given allowances and treated like children, basically. And they end up feeling like children. They feel that they can't survive without their partner, who is now a parent to them.
Well, that's the answer. Every time the word are, oh, now that we are married, you can take care of the kid, or we take care of the house. When this sentence start,
Yes.
you just have to, okay, is what happened. I was working, I was a coordinator with Doctors Without Borders. I every time come on that, traveling all in South Sudan, Burundi, etc., Nicaragua. I speak Spanish too, doing all what my work was asking me to do. And as soon as I get married, I become the family owned me. That was a family owning me first, and even if I was the one who was traveling, then that become of, oh no, you don't have to do anything. Stay home and take care of your daughter, of the kids. I will just take care of you. And this is when I figured out that was
Would you go back to working with Doctors Without Borders?
Yes, I wish I would do that.
Well, when your daughter gets older.
You understand?
I got it.
Yes,
because
right now-
you are a single parent now.
Yes, right
So
now
that makes
yes.
a difference.
Yeah, right now I work for Solar Co-op. I'm doing exactly the same thing, but here in Los Angeles with a food co-op, Solar Co-op. That is a cooperative. We are looking to open a store, organic store that we co-own, and we are looking to have more clients to come in.
Okay,
Beautiful.
I want to talk to you about that after the show.
Yeah.
Okay,
Quick,
just jump in. You don't have to ask me.
quickly, I just wanted to say that something women should really look out for is if you're in a relationship and it seems, they say, oh, he's just like a knight in shining armor. He does everything right. Before you move in with this person, which I hope you don't do that anyway, or consider marrying this person, make sure that there's some challenges and life tests that happen before you get that seriously involved, to see how that person handles it.
Well, what is the challenge? Go ahead.
Well, I mean, just anything. I mean, basically, something that you don't like about what he does, or, and you voice it. Be very clear about it and see how he handles that. See what the attitude is. See what the comeback is. if someone passes away, his mother, or I mean, hopefully nothing like that happens, but just distress. I would want to see how this person handles distress in his life. Because normally what happens is when distress happens, if you're not balanced enough in your emotions, you're going to take it out on the person that's right there.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah, that's
So
so true.
so you need situations, you need to, before you make that kind of commitment, you need some tests. I'm not saying create the test.
No, and that's why time is so
Yeah,
important.
time is very important.
So important.
Like, people, it's like, oh, I just knew when I saw him and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what?
Sometimes it happens.
Every once in a while that happens.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that's not a normal situation. I mean, part of engagement or being in a relationship is so that you can see how that person handles life and how that person reacts with you. Time is very important to live those things out.
And also past relationships. I mean, if your new boyfriend or partner is constantly talking about, their past relationship and what was wrong with the other person and how it was all their fault, and again, paying attention. How do they assume responsibility? How self-reflective are they? How willing are they to apologize? And I'm not talking about I remember one person I knew describing it as slap and pat. It would be they would sort of either physically or emotionally slap somebody and then pat them. They're there. It's and it's that sort of that abuse, and then the makeup. It can be so seductive to be. I mean, emotions are heightened and they get mixed up, like the pleasure, the pain gets mixed up, and then when you've got somebody that pushes a little too far, testing you, and then is so apologetic and so you speak about this.
Charming.
Charming.
Yeah, I'm so
exactly.
glad you brought that up because, and I've even overheard, because I've actually worked with the young adults for 2 years with this organization called YAM, and there's this thing, like you talk about having an absent father or a father that is absent emotionally, where they actually create scenarios to try to make the man jealous, their boyfriends or whatever, because they feel if they react badly, if they get some type of reaction, because they didn't get healthy reaction as a child with the father situation, so they create drama and create jealousy, to try to get their boyfriend to react. And then normally what happens is they react very badly.
Yeah.
And so the thinking is, this is normal. You see, they love me. They're paying attention. They care because they're reacting to the fact that I'm with another man or I'm talking to another man. And so that means they care. And they don't see it as abuse or that person controlling what you do and who you talk to.
Yeah. Indifference is very painful. Any type of like you say, even if it's aggression, it's like they see you. So it's like, oh, I'm being seen.
It's almost like a 2-year-old. They call I really hate that term because you're labeling the terrible twos, but it's almost like I'm going to have a tantrum. Thank you.
Yeah.
I've got trauma in my mind. Tantrum. Yeah, I'm going to have a tantrum so that I can get your attention any way necessary.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's happened also culturally. I remember the story of some cultures in Africa that I know, where the woman would say, "Oh, the man beat me is because he loves me."
Yeah.
We have that.
I haven't heard that in a long time. I have heard that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and he has another woman, and we have to fight. Both women has to fight. Then meaning we to show who loves him more. So no, I'm not there. I'm not into that.
You know what? This is a stretch, but if you really think about it, because I love the Renaissance time. I love pomp and circumstance, and if you think about it, the men would duel to get the woman. So there was violence that was acceptable and honorable back then.
Wow.
Yeah.
If we really think about that.
Well, it's also just the fairy tales that we're fed as children. I mean, there's the Cinderella and oh my God, all of these where the Prince Charming comes in, and again we
Rescues her at the end.
absolutely, and we're susceptible to that. Again, as I say, just if you had an unhealthy relationship as a woman with your father, please do the work before you get married, because it'll show up. Somehow it'll show up. You're either waiting to be rescued, waiting for the Prince Charming to come, or as you say, looking for. I finally got a few years ago. It was brilliant that when I talked about love, I was actually talking about longing. If I was in longing, then it felt like I was in love, because I had always longed for my father.
I think we all have different ways of wanting to be loved, and some just don't work.
Yes, mine definitely wasn't working.
You have to really go inside yourself. Oh, and I wanted to bring it to a spiritual level, because you coach on a very spiritual level, and I think if you're looking for a partner, I think spirituality has to be a big part of it.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. I mean, I was definitely, I studied spiritual psychology. I got my master's in that at USM. And a big part of it was, I really truly felt that I was missing something. So what the partners I was looking for were to complete me. And they were either strong men, because I felt vulnerable. And often those strong men are controlling men, and they can overpower you. And it was only by really going very deep into my own world and my own spiritual world, and really finding my strengths, finding out that total self-acceptance of everything that you are, and that self-love that you have for yourself, that eventually, once you've really enriched that part of you. And I noticed on the website too, I think anybody that participates is required to not be in a serious relationship for a while.
They have to be away from their abuser.
Oh, from their abuser.
Yes.
Well, I also took it as maybe before they get into another serious relationship, take that time to work on yourself, to really find that self-love. And once you've done that, and once you have that absolute love and self-acceptance, then you are going to draw in a partner that reflects that back to you. And part of finding all of those, as you said, is really taking the time to connect to, for me, I call it spirit, but doing my meditation, taking my time to myself.
Yoga.
I love my yoga. And I love nature. Nature is a wonderful, when things were chaotic in my life, I would just take myself on wonderful walks.
I do that now.
Yeah. Hikes.
All the time. I mean, to make a living now, I'm a walking coach. So I'm for older people. My youngest is 64. My oldest is 82. And my oldest, 82, he and his wife next year are celebrating their 50th anniversary.
Wow.
I have learned so much being at their house 2 days a week for the last 3 or 4 years. And I've actually known his wife a lot, almost 25. But being around the two of them, they are just, he'll say something that's so off the wall, I think I would have killed him. And she'll just turn around and make this funniest answer, and then they just laugh and they just go.
Beautiful.
It's just amazing to watch, and it's helped me so much in my relationship about how to just turn it around and make it funny. And then you both kind of look at each other and laugh. But I was like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. And she'll turn around and say, I'm like, she just heard it completely different. Yeah. But it's amazing.
Yeah.
That what laughter and turning something around does.
Oh, absolutely. Even with your children. Even with your children, I noticed that if you make it humorous and you make it fun and you don't make it sort of aggressive and harsh, you can get an awful lot across with somebody when you're actually having fun with them.
And it's funny because they're both so witty. Sometimes I think they try to outwit each other, and that makes it even more funny.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Amazing.
Yeah, but I have learned so much. I tell them that all the time on the show. I've learned so much from being around an actually seriously happy couple. It wasn't always that way, but they learned how to do it.
Yeah.
It took many years.
Well, I always say that I think the foundation of a great relationship is respect, and it doesn't.
That's what
I
she
mean,
says.
yeah, it really is. I mean, you can sort of fall out of we call fall out of love, or you can sort of have times when you're less attracted to your partner, or you're less enthralled by them. But if you respect them, that's the bond for me anyway, because that just keeps it going, and the love does come back if you focus on it and you treat each other lovingly. It just can be rekindled.
And you know what? I agree with that. And the problem is that most people don't understand what respect looks like or what it means.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to figure out a way to get that broad definition so that people understand what it is, because especially in relationships, the man will, you're not respecting me, and then what comes after that?
Yeah. Well, for me, when I use the word respect, it is literally seeing that
Yes.
you are two separate individuals,
Right.
and that you have your own thoughts, your own
Yes.
feelings, and that's perfectly okay. And that's what
Right.
makes life interesting and exciting.
Yeah.
And your partner does not have to be a reflection of you.
Right.
And you just give each other the space to be who somebody is.
Yes. And yes, and I know you've got it. The people out there in the world, they don't understand what respect means.
No, exactly. Well, especially obviously if you
Yeah.
find yourself in any form of abusive, whether it's emotional,
Right.
And you can-
financial.
Or financial's another big one.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is. It's
You know,
absolutely.
you went through financial.
Yes, I'm still, well, I'm not there yet at the point where I was supposed to be.
Do you have any connection with your ex-husband
Oh, well, yes, because my daughter
because
is
of your daughter?
was father, and she's strong enough to, we are both strong enough. When he does anything, I just take my phone. You see, he's not picking up. It's because, maybe my daughter went there and he just played, funny with her, and she just stand up and say, well, Dad, you know what? That doesn't work.
I was
Yeah.
going to ask you, did he ever hit her or try and
No.
hit her when she was younger?
No, that's not. It was more me,
Yeah.
because I was the one who was not obeying
Yeah.
usually.
But sometimes that can get triggered when the child, especially a female child, gets to around 16, 17, and they start, as they see it, rebelling, or as they would say, not respecting their father. I mean, it's not unheard of for then the abuse to come out again.
Well, what's happened with her, what he's asking her every time, do you have a boyfriend? I'm saying he's scared about her having a boyfriend. Do you have a boyfriend? She said, myself at 14, Dad, you're just, not there yet. She knows how to.
She knows how to
Handle him.
handle him.
Yes.
Do you
she-
think going through the classes have helped her to understand how to handle her father?
Yeah, she does. She came to some classes with me and
Safe
after school.
passage.
Safe passage, a safe passage with us. And she's every time around us. Every time there is something in safe passage,
Now,
she's coming.
okay, I know you graduated. Do you still get to go back at any time after you've graduated from Safe Passage? You can.
Yes, I can come to any workshop. I'm still receiving information for workshop.
Yeah, you can.
Any event that's happened, I'm there to support the organization. If they need me to speak, of course, I'm there. I'm there for the organization.
And
It's a
you're
family.
there to teach how to do the head wraps.
Well, when they will call me, I will.
We actually like for them to come and volunteer at least 6
Yes.
months after they graduate. So they're
Oh,
giving
great.
back.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, that's
Beautiful.
nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, we're going to have to kind of close out the show. We only have a couple more minutes. So I'm going to go around the table, have everybody give their final thoughts. If you want to give out your websites, how people can get in touch with you, give out Safe Passage's website. You can talk about whatever you're doing, your head wraps.
I think we all need a head wrap.
Yeah.
Yes, the head wrap.
Bad
For
headphone
bare head, yeah, bad head day, bad
Okay.
head days, bad hair days.
Well, I would just like to wrap up with the main thing is to reach out. There is no shame whatsoever if you find yourself in this situation. And even if you are not sure if you're in this situation, again, reach out, because some of us, we're so in denial about what's going on around us. We want to keep our families together. We're trying everything. So just reach out to a professional. That would be my suggestion. Sometimes family and friends are not the people to reach out to, because you say something to them and then you decide you want to stay in the relationship, and then you start hiding things, and it just becomes a bigger problem, get counseling, get into coaching, somewhere where you have, a neutral figure that can really help you decide what it is that you want in your life, get focused about the things that are working, the things that are not working. And on that note, I am a relationship and divorce coach. My name is Del Adie Jones, and you can get me at deladiejones.com. That's my website.
You better spell it.
Oh, DELADYJONES.com. Or you can reach me at 310-266-4297.
And you actually pick up your phone.
I do pick up my phone. Unless it's an 800 number. So, so anyway, so.
Yes, and Jeannie Jones, with Safe Passage. And you can go to our website, it's Safe Passage Lives, lives.org, or you can go to Safe Passage Heals, HEALS.org. Also, check out Mia Morgala. You can find that on Facebook as well, and our events on our website.
Well, this is Bamboo Diane from Senegal again. What I want to say is to my girls and why in Africa, there is every time hope. Go and look the movie with Lupita Nyong'o, the Queen of Catway. You will see your struggle, but you will see also hope through that. Never give up. Continue the work. Myself, I'm a speaker too, motivational speaker for girls and boys and kids, youth, anybody who needs to.
How do we get in touch with you?
Myself, my phone number is 424-221-0196, and you can join me with Solar Food like South LA Food Co-op.com. I'm a member of southlafood.com. SOLA Food FOOD Co-op COOP.com. Thank you.
You wanted to give out
Thank
yours.
you so
Yes,
much.
my telephone number, this is Jeannie Jones, is 310-228-3126 if you'd like to get in touch with me.
Oh, this was an amazing show. You guys were wonderful guests. I think we got out the best information from our hearts that we possibly could.
Yeah.
I'm
Thank
thrilled
you
to have you. You
Thank
guys
you,
did an
Alayna.
amazing
Thank you.
show.
Thank you so
All
much.
right, everybody, it's time to go. So thank you.
Alayna.
Remember, really quick before we got the National Violence Violent Abuse Hotline is 1-800-799-7233.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Let's
Thank
say
you.
goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.